everybody, it's Rose here from Getting Grounded in the Garden. Today we're doing something called Corona Garden Experiments. Now I don't care how old or how young you are, when you can make something grow, you feel really good about it. Today we're going to find as many kitchen scraps and as many materials as we can without going shopping. I went around for the past few days just gathering what I had from the garage, from the kitchen cabinets, from the dining room cabinets, from outside on the deck, and here's what I have to show you today. Okay, we're going to start with onions, garlic, and potatoes, including sweet potatoes. So what I want to show you here is that 2 days ago, I cut the bottom of an onion, and I left about an inch of the onion there. I'm soaking it in water, and as you can see already, within 2.5 days, little shoots are already forming. So this plant is already in progress, and I think I can put it in some soil. Now I chose a box here, a flat box, because all I had were taller pots, and we don't need all that soil on the bottom. We just need about 4 or 5 inches. So this is basic potting soil. I'm adding some seed starting mix to the top. Anything that I'm planting today, I'm going to add some seed starting mix, just a little bit of a layer on the top. And whenever you plant something new, you make sure the soil is already moistened. I already did wet this before I put the seed starting mix on top, but we want to make it nice and moist. I'm going to just take this onion, put it in the soil, just a tiny bit, and then I'm going to cover it, letting those shoots be exposed, giving them room to grow straight up. Okay, so that's something you can do at home. I'm cutting this red onion, removing the skin. Something you want to do. See, it already has some good roots. I'm going to put that, just wet it a little bit, and I'm going to put that right in the soil. And we will see what happens with that method. I did watch a few videos and read some articles because, as you know, I am more of a flower and plant gardener. I don't usually plant vegetables, but I figure this is the year to do it. I can't plant them outside in the yard because I have deer here, but I do have a ton of containers I can use, so that's what I'm doing. I'll do the same thing with another white onion and plant this one. Now we can do the same thing with green onions or scallions. Just cut anywhere in that white part. And this is something you can either soak in water or plant right in the soil. I'm going to plant a few right in the soil. Just poke with your finger. These pretty much grow straight up, so they don't need that much space in between them. Where is my garlic? I have a whole piece of garlic here. I'm going to break it apart, and from what I've read, I need to use the outside larger cloves for replanting. When you put them in your recipes, oh my goodness, they just wake up a whole meal. Okay, I want to remove the skin and plant the garlic right here, just with the tip showing. And I'll plant a few more. I'm using the biggest cloves from the outside of the bulbs, and supposedly they grow bigger bulbs. And these onions and the potatoes should be all ready to be harvested by early fall. Okay, let me give them a little bit more water. Now we have a few days until the last frost. The last frost in Pennsylvania, Zone 7, is April 14th. So what I'll do is I'll take these out each day and then bring them in each night until I know the temperature will not go below 50 degrees. Potatoes can handle it, but all the other vegetables need to be brought in. Oh, I'm making such a mess here, but I love it. It's experimenting, it's learning new things, and if they work, awesome. If they don't, so what? We learned a few new things. Okay, so here I have some little potatoes. I'm going to try to grow some in water first to develop roots, and some a different way. So what I did the other day, since these potatoes were so small and I couldn't imagine sitting one little potato in each bottle, is I put them in about a ½ inch of water, each one on a skewer. Now this one really hasn't done much, but some of them have developed some eyes that are beginning to sprout. This one is really good. The eyes are turning green and I can see that they're going to shoot right out. This is a good one. So I'm going to take this out of the water, put it here, and find all the other good ones. Now these were sitting in the water for 3 days. I probably could let them sit a little longer, but I'm going to try planting them today. One good eye. And supposedly from each one of these potato pieces, we can grow a whole bunch of potatoes. And when we get outside, I'll show you how to plant them. Another method for starting your potatoes is to just cut them in half and lay them upside down. And this is what we see after 3 days. We have some nice eyes like we had on the wet ones, but the bottom is dark and dry and scarred. This is one thing you do to prevent mildew or problems entering into the root. So we're going to plant these dry ones in a separate container. So I'm picking out the best ones with the best eyes, and we'll see how it goes. We'll watch them over time and see if the ones that were started with the water, or the dry ones do better. Oh, this one is nice. I also have some bigger potatoes that I just bought at the grocery store. I don't really see any eyes developing yet, so I'm going to just keep them on the windowsill, and then I will cut some, and I can put, you know, when you were a child, you would cut a potato in half, stick the toothpicks in it to hold it in place, and you sit it near a sunny window and just watch the roots grow. And after the roots get to be a few inches, then you plant it in the soil. You can do the same thing with sweet potatoes. What I learned is the pointy part of a sweet potato is the part that has the roots. I'm just going to put this into a vase. This vase seems to be perfect for the job. They say that you should have 1/3 to half of the potato in the water. So there we go. And we will sit that by a window and watch that one grow. Another method of starting sweet potatoes is to just sit it in some water, maybe a 1/2 inch of water, and watch to see what happens. So I'm just sitting these two in water. I'm going to keep them inside by the window. By the way, this is my only sunny window in the whole house. So that's one of the reasons I've never done much seed starting. I tried it years ago with the lights and the warming trays and everything. It was just too much to keep up with. But I'm just going to try this by the window. I'll put it over here for now. And then let's do another experiment. Let's take another sweet potato and set it into some soil that is very wet. Just let it sit there, halfway covered. Here's another one. We're just going to let them sit there. I think they need a little more. This water is really moist. I figure if potatoes grow in water, then I'm going to put a lot of water in this soil just to get them started. Okay, so we'll let them grow for a few days. They say that every time you add water, which would be about every 2 or 3 days, you turn them a little bit. Same thing with the potatoes in the vases, so they get different sun exposure. Check this out. You can eat your lettuce and then keep it growing all summer long. I just can't believe this is so exciting. Okay, let's just say that we are cutting the lettuce right here. I'm using this to make a nice Caesar salad, right? What we can do is take this and just plant it right in soil. Oh, I forgot my seed starting mix on top of this. Okay, we're going to plant that right in there and watch it grow. It might take about a week or so to start seeing some shoots come up. We want to keep it nice and moist. This I will put outside and bring it in each night. And I'll do the same thing with all 3 of these. Now this one I think I'll tear and see what happens. I have 3 pots for lettuces here. Okay, and then I'll do the other one. These will go outside. That's why I chose smaller pots for these. They don't need that much soil around them. That's plenty. Now, throughout the summer, as the lettuce grows, what you can do is remove the outer leaves. Take those to eat. Leave some center leaves, and it will keep growing, and then you keep removing the outer leaves, and it should produce for you all summer long. Isn't that amazing? You can use all different types of lettuce, not just romaine either. And how about celery? Celery is another vegetable we can regrow. This is just amazing. So we're going to cut off You really can't see what I'm doing there, can you? We're going to cut off, leaving about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, and we're just going to put that in the soil. Push it in there. Give it some more water. And you know what? Just for fun, I'm going to take one of the tops and cut that off and see how that grows. Just put that to the side there. I don't know if I'm allowing enough space here, but I'll try it. We'll see what happens. And just so you know, you can also make some cuttings to houseplants to regrow those. It's really important to water your soil before you plant anything in it. Okay, so you can take some sedums or succulent plants and just break them off or pinch them off of your plants from either indoors or outdoors. This is Sedum angelina. This actually grows by itself outside. I see it popping up in different places. So I just pinched off a piece low on the stem, and I'm just planting them in soil. We can watch those grow. And here's another type of sedum here. I'm going to remove some of the bottom leaves there. You know, whenever there's new growth, whenever there's a leaf coming out, that could also be a place that a root could come out in most cases. So let me remove a few more of those bottom leaves. Now there is a product for houseplants that's called Take Root. It's a root starting agent. Whoops. And you just want to dip the stem or the bottom of your plant into that agent. It will help it get started. I wouldn't recommend using it for fruits and vegetables because it might have chemicals in there that you don't need to eat. You know what, let me take this sedum out and do the same thing. I forgot to do it. Now this is a jade plant. You can see one leaf already fell off. I'm going to dip that into the rooting hormone and plant that. Another way you can regenerate these type of plants, especially jade plants or anything with a thicker leaf, you can cut off a good part of the leaf and just take these pieces and let them dry out. I'll put them on a little plate and let them sit for about a week before I plant them in the soil. So you can either do it this way. Here's a cactus plant. I can take a piece, cut a piece off right there. Just put the top part on a plate, let it dry, just like that. Or with the cactus plant or the jade plant, you can cut down. Here's the new growth here. I'm going to cut down to this, right above this node, remember that? And I'm going to remove these two bottom leaves as well. And just put this right into the soil. You could also put it in water and it will grow the roots. It's what you prefer or what you would like to try doing, or try both ways. Let's take a piece of this cactus and just snip it off right where there's a new point of growth and dip that into the rooting hormone and plant that Christmas cactus right in this little pot. Boy, when these things are happy and healthy, they grow so big. I mean, this is just one arm of a huge plant. Amazing. And the flowers last for like 3 months. Amazing. Okay, I might take a few more pieces of that later and just plant it. Actually, let's put this piece of jade in the water. You can see there are already some little roots forming here. So I'm going to take advantage of that and just put this in some water. I'll put it right into this vase here. So that part where the roots are coming out can have enough water. So there you go, some house plants. These can also go outside on nice days and be brought back in. And who doesn't like herbs? Oh my gosh. The smell of fresh basil and rosemary, and thyme and spearmint. This is so refreshing and great in mojitos. All right, so we are going to regrow our herbs. I'm just going to put the spearmint in a bottle of water. It didn't have any leaves at the bottom, so Now, when we look at this thyme, we want to remove the bottom leaves just by scraping down with your fingers. We actually don't want to put a woody piece in the water. We want a piece that is greener and more pliable. So let's take this little stem. See, this is more bendable and pliable. Let's take that and put it in a little bottle there. I can do the same with each of these. For now, I'll put them in the same bottle, and if I see them growing roots, I'll separate them if I feel I need to. Okay. Rosemary, we have a nice pliable piece. We're going to just scrape out the bottom stems and put that in water. Now when these are ready, we will put them in soil, but for now we're starting them with water. This basil here looks kind of limp. That's okay. Let's remove this bottom base, remove these side stems, and put that in some water to perk it up. When you remove the bottom stems, you give more energy to the rest of the plant, and that saves some energy for growing roots. Isn't this fun? We're just using what we have already. Now, you might not have all these things, but you can keep in your mind next time you go to the store or have a delivery of what you might like to grow at home. It's really fun. It's a great project for kids, and you get messy, but that's okay. That's all part of the experience. So I'm going to keep these by the window as well. We'll see these perk right up in about an hour. Okay, heading outside to plant those potatoes. Okay, here we are outside. We're going to plant these potatoes. Let me put them aside. Here we have the dry ones and the ones that were in the water. I prepared some soil. I mixed last year's soil that was in this pot with some potting soil and tried to mix it up really well. I'm only going to fill each one of these about 4 or 5 inches deep. That's what you do with potatoes. You pick a nice deep container and you start the potatoes near the bottom. Okay, a little water. Okay, I'm putting a little seed starting mix in here. Oh, I hope this works. Never done this before, but I thought it would be a fun experiment. Oh, look here. I have some sand I wanted to add to the soil, and I totally forgot. Let me just do it now. Sometimes if the soil is too moist and thick, the potatoes don't grow as well as if it drains a little better with a little sand in there. I'm going to mix some of the sand in this soil as well. This is just something I found in the garage. I think I used this on top of some cactus planters at one time. Okay, I prepared 2 popsicle sticks. You can use whatever you have, but luckily I found these in our old arts and crafts cabinet. So this one has the date 4/8, and it says small potatoes, small pots, water roots. Okay, and this one says dry roots. It's important to label things that you're planting, or get a little book or a little sheet of paper, write the name of the plants down the side, and at the top you can have the date you started, when you first saw shoots or roots, and how big they get along the way. Okay, so first let's plant our dry potatoes. Now it's recommended that you plant regular sized potatoes about 16 inches away from each other, but these are small, so I'm going to plant more than that. 2, 4, 6. I'm going to put 7 in here. And I'm just going to add a little bit of soil, maybe an inch or 2 on top of these, and give it a little water. Now, when I start to see shoots come up, that'll be so exciting. But when the shoots get to be about 4 inches high, then we're going to do something called hilling. You take more soil and you hill it up around each plant. You mound it up. So you're going to cover some of the stem. You're just going to leave the top of the stem poking out, but pack the soil loosely around that stem. So the tuber, the potato, will keep putting out more growth, and the stem will keep growing, and the shoots from the potato tubers themselves will create more and more potatoes. So that's what you do. And with any plant, keep the watering regular. You don't want to have wet and dry periods fluctuating throughout the summer. That's just going to cause problems with the plant. Now you kind of have to be patient with potatoes or any vegetables. These take about 4 months to produce lots and lots of potatoes, but I think it's worth the wait. And it's always so surprising that from one potato you can get a whole bunch. I'm not sure how many, maybe 10 or 12 potatoes from each one of these. So this will be fun. Potatoes like cool weather, so they can stay outside. I know they like sun, but I'm going to put it by the house because the sun will go away after about 6 or 7 hours, and I want to keep these cool in these planters. It's good to keep the soil aside that you know that you will use in these potato plants. So each time you have to hill them or mound them, you don't have to go around looking for new soil. It's already there. And this one already has sand mixed in. I need to go deeper with my shovel, but I'll get it in there. I'll probably use this whole little bag here. If I had some straw, I would lay it on top of the potatoes, but I don't. I'm going to add some mulch when I put these over there. Just a nice, light, airy topping would be good. So this year I'm putting a new focus on planting vegetables and seeds. I think it's a great time for all of us to learn new things and to grow things that we can eat. I mean, luckily we're not in the times of the World War I or II when they established victory gardens where the whole community got together and planted gardens wherever there was free land, and they used that to sustain themselves and to send to the troops over in Europe. So luckily right now we're in the middle of a pandemic, but we still have access to some of the things we need. Be careful going out there if you have to go shopping, but please look around your houses to see what you have already. If you don't have enough soil, you might be able to go dig some from your yard. You might still have a mulch pile out there that you can dig, or you might know of a really good place where you have a lot of earthworms. Go digging out there. You don't have to buy it. As you see, I don't have any raised beds or anything like that, just containers. I'm using what I had. And if I didn't have nice planters, I would use pots from the kitchen or bowls or dishpans or whatever I could find. For potatoes, you can use a canvas sack. I mean, there are so many resources available to you, and it's always fun to go through your cabinets and your drawers and things and find things that you forgot you had and put them to good use. I hope you try some of these experiments and they work out for you, and if they don't, it's okay. At least you tried, and you'll know for the next time what to do differently. It's, you know, that's how life is too. You learn from your mistakes. So gardening is a great way to learn those lessons in life. So enjoy yourselves. Let me know how you're making out, and please be safe and well. Thank you. Okay, I just finished cleaning up and I wanted to show you, I put all the final clippings in containers, so we will watch to see them root. I'm going to come back in 2 weeks just to show you the progress we're having here. I also wanted to mention a couple of things. See this spearmint here? Any kind of mint plant should never be planted right in the ground because they're very aggressive and they will stretch out and take over the whole area, and they're hard to get out. Also, sweet potato vines and potato vines can be toxic to pets. So if you're going to plant them, lift them up or plant them away from where your pets can get to them. Here's a little view of what we have outside here. Celery, onions, green onions, garlic, sweet potatoes in the back. I changed my mind. I brought them outside. I didn't have enough sunny spaces for them. Oh, this is just nothing. 3 romaine lettuce, and then some sedums and jade. Hey, look, I found some dried iris leaves, and I spread those over the top of the potatoes. If you like this video today, please remember to like, comment, or subscribe on Facebook or YouTube. Thank you.